Hello and welcome friends to 5 Minutes Engineering. In the last video we saw that how we can load our data, and then further to that we need to understand our data. Now to understand our data there are two ways that we can use. The first way we are going to discuss in this video. The two ways are: the first one, by using some statistics. By using some statistic, we can understand our data like mean, mode, median, standard deviation, all that stuff through which we can understand our data. And the second way is by visualization, by some charts, by some diagrams. We are trying to know about our data. And the first way, that is by using statistic, we are going to understand our data, and how we can do that we are going to see in this video. So let's start and take the help of Jupyter Notebook. And in the cell whatever we have written, we have done it in the previous video, that is loading of a data set, loading of a CSV file, comma separated value file. For that we used the pandas library, and here also we have used it. Okay, and read CSV, that we have used the method, and in the double quotes we have mentioned the file that we want to import. And head is a method which try to return you the first 5 rows of your data set. Now just press shift plus enter, and now it will be executing, and you will see the first 5 rows of your data set abc.csv. Then we will come to know what are the features into that data set. So there are, just to keep it simple, just two features I have considered, that is one is distance and other is price. Means how much distance, how much miles you can say the your bike has traveled, and according to it what's the market price of that respective bike. So some of them are 20 miles, 30 miles, 80 miles, 50 miles and 10 miles. So these are just the first 5, which is starting from 0. First 5 rows are being returned by the head method. Now what we need to next know is that what are the basically columns. Let's say here it is visible. Okay, because it's a simple example, we know that there are only two columns, and one is distance and other is price. But in reality, in machine learning, there may be hundreds of columns, hundreds of features, hundreds of attributes, we can say, in a data set. So for that we just need to use the name df dot, as df is being mentioned here, df dot, we have to mention here columns, and shift plus enter. We can see here what are the columns that are present in my data set. Here it is distance, and the second one is price, and their data type is also mentioned. Okay, and if we want to specifically know the data type, so for that we can use also df dot d types. We can use this also, and just shift plus enter, and you will see here what is the type. Distance is an integer, price is an integer. Okay, so similar way we can just know about our data, that what is the data type, what are our columns. Let's consider, can we get rows also? Okay, so we will use it rows, and let's see what we get here. So there is an error because there is no such thing as error rows that we can use. So here we can see in the data frame object has no attributes as rows, so we cannot just use this rows, as we used here columns to know about the columns. So we cannot use here rows. Okay, so that's the one thing. And about the head also I would like to tell you, as here in the first cell we just saw that df dot head, it is only going to return us the first 5 rows of our data set. But if we are interested in more number of rows, means more number of data, we want to know about our data, and more number of rows we want to get to display. So what we could do is that df dot head, and inside that we can mention the number of rows that we want. Let's say 10. I want 10. So we can see here 0 to 9, that totals up to 10. If I say, let's say more than 10, like 15, I want 15. Okay, so we can see here, but still it is visible, it is 0 to 9, that is 10, and I have commanded that I want to see 15, first 15 rows of my data set, and still it is showing me only 10. So what could be possible reason? The data itself consists of only 10 rows, or I can say 10 samples we should say. Okay, and that is why if even if I give 20 here, it's only going to show me what it has. Means it only has 10 rows, so it will only show 10 rows only. Okay, so this is the way we can see it and understand about our data. Now let's move ahead and try to understand like what could be the possible dimensions of our respective data set. So if we want to know that, that means we need to use this shape. We need to know the shape of our data set. So for that we just will do this, use df dot shape, and there we are going to have, we can see here, number of rows. The first one is the number of rows, that is Here is the proof that there are 10 respective rows in our data set, and 2 are the columns, 2 are the features, 2 are the attributes, anything you can say. So one is the distance, another is the price. Now let's go and understand it in very much detail, that what is the mean and what is the median, okay, what is the standard deviation, what is the maximum, what is the minimum value for each of the attribute in your data set. So for that we need to use df.describe. Describe, we just need to use describe, shift plus enter, and you can see here the detailed statistics of your data, and you can understand your data better by using this. So you can, first of all is the count, that is how much is the total number of samples that you are having in each of the attributes, that is distance 10, price also 10. Then the mean, of the whole total values in the attribute distance is calculated here and displayed. Similarly, the mean of the price column is also displayed here. Then here is the standard deviations that are mentioned for respective columns or attributes, we can say distance and price. Then the minimum value that you can witness, you can see here in this particular distance minimum is 10 and the maximum is 80, and it is displayed here. And these are the quantile values, 25% quantile, 50% quantile and 75% quantile, that are being mentioned for each of the respective attribute, distance and price.